Welcome to the new day. I'm your host Caleb, and today we're going to get down and dirty to make some homemade roasted dandelion root tea. The supplies that you're going to need is a shovel, obviously, to be able to dig up the dandelions, and afterwards you're going to end up with a dandelion and the root itself. Preferably you're going to want to get dandelions that are in a plowed field, a tilled garden. The loose soil allows the roots to grow down to a foot, if not more, giving you a larger plant. And you won't throw your back out, like I almost did trying to dig these up. Keep in mind also, you don't want to get dandelions that are next to the road or in a ditch somewhere. They could have chemicals in them, so don't get anything that has a pesticide, herbicides that can kind of contaminate your tea in the long run. Many people believe that the dandelion is nothing more than a pesky weed. But in fact, it's full of minerals, vitamins, potassium. It aids in digestion, kidney and liver function. There are many uses that I found during my research for today's episode. So now that we've covered the basics of why dandelions are healthy, let's get started with our tea. And typically, you want to cut away the stems in the field. That way you don't bring in dirt into your house and get your cutting board dirty. But it's raining outside, and I did this in a hurry. But what you want to do is you just want to cut the root where it connects to the stem. It's a white part that's right about right here. And you just take some scissors, a sharp knife, and you cut it right there. And you can discard of the stems. And you just keep doing that until you get done with all of your roots. Depending on the size of the roots, it can take anywhere from 2 to 3 roots probably to make a cup of tea. So you'll need to do some gathering if you want to store these for later use and have a lot of cups of dandelion root tea. After you've removed all the stems from the dandelion roots, you'll put the roots in the sink themselves here. And what you want to do is you'll probably want to fill the container that you have some Tupperware here. And you'll kind of just fill the container with some cold water. You can see that it's kind of muddy. And you just kind of agitate them to get that loose dirt off. Make sure there's no earthworms, anything like that. Earthworms really love these things. In the research that I found, they'll eat these. But here. And you just kind of rinse and repeat a few times until the water runs clear out of the Tupperware and all the debris has kind of come out of it. And lastly, you can actually kind of rub each one a little bit with a toothbrush just to make sure you got everything off. I just don't want to drink dirt in my tea. This will definitely help get everything off just really quickly. Just make sure nothing comes into the water. You can see most of this is actually root inside the water. But the water's clear now, and then the cleaning is almost done. And now that our dandelion roots are cleaned, there's no dirt on them, we want to pretty much chop them up so when we roast them, they will dry very quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in a food processor, a blender of some sort to chop them up. Let's see, let's go ahead and chop these up a little bit just to get them in a nice size to fit inside of my container here for my blender. Just chop a few up at a time here. Help it out. There we go. And just do a little bit at a time. You don't want to do a whole bunch because it could make it actually a slower process. But you'll see, you'll get the idea. And next you want to turn your oven on to 225 degrees Fahrenheit, or around 110 degrees Celsius, I want to say. You're going to grease your pan with either olive oil or coconut oil. Kind of just get it all the way over here. You don't want too much because you don't really want like an oily tea. You just kind of want to get enough to make sure it doesn't stick to the pan. So there we go. And then right after that, just take your ground up grounds here, kind of dump them all out, grab a spoon, pull all these bad boys out of here. And you'll definitely want to spread these around. You need them to dry relatively at the same rate. And then when they're drying at 200 something degrees, they're also going to be roasting at the same time once they are dry. And that's actually going to be the best thing. It's where it's going to give it the bitterness. You're going to get a nice little, almost like a peanut taste out of it when you roast them. Let's put these out here even. Some of them aren't like what they're supposed to be, but we'll grind that up later. Let's do this. There you are. It's very even. Not too many big pieces in there. And now we're going to roast it. Alright, we're getting ready to roast these. What we're going to do is we're going to put them on the top rack of the oven. Actually quite hot, but you don't want to close the oven all the way. You want the moisture from them to leave. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a metal whisk and I'm going to kind of wedge it a little bit and leave the oven kind of ajar, not closed. Moisture will come out. And we're going to do this for about 2.5 hours. They're going to turn to like a darker brown, almost like a coffee ground color. And we will come back in about 2.5 hours. About 2 hours now, a little over 2 hours. We're going to take it out of the oven here. Let's see what we got. It smells like citrus. There we go. It's actually quite. Oh yeah, they're dry. It's very dry. There's not actually as much. I guess they all shrank. But yeah, they're all dry. They look like coffee grounds. Let's take them out. Now that we're almost done, we're going to take the ground up roots that have been roasted and dried, put them into a blender or a coffee mill of some sort. I have a blender that actually does my coffee grounds for me. So we're going to make this into a coarse powder and store it in a glass jar for, keep it out of the humidity, keep it out of the heat and light like you would with coffee. I would store mine in of course, a glass jar in the refrigerator. And right after that, I'm going to make me a good old cup of tea. All right. Well, let's go ahead and make a cup of tea. For every cup of water, you want to add a tablespoon of the ground up dandelion roots. I'm going to use a little less because I like my tea a little less strong. And I'm going to use a coffee filter to put it in so that I can run the water over it, that I can steep it for a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just cover it up, sink it to the bottom, shake it up a little bit, take it right here, kind of like a tea bag would be. Just kind of twist it at the top a little bit. And there you go. There's your tea bag. Shake it around a little bit since I have a little bit of room at the top. Alright. I have a thing of boiling water over here, so I'm just going to steep it over here. Pour the running water over it, and then I'll steep it afterwards. Just be careful not to burn yourself here. You could probably use a string or something to tie it up with. I don't really care. Just let it steep for a little bit here. Put it on the side, bend it over. And then I'm actually going to put a lemon wedge in here as well, just to give it a little bit of citrus. And there you go. I'm going to let it sleep for about 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, let it cool off just a little bit, get down in temperature. I'm going to try this cup of tea. Well, let's give it a try. After all this hard work, it should be pretty good.
Yeah, that's actually very good. It's very bitter, so you could probably add cream, even honey. It has that coffee taste to it in a way. But the bitterness, from what I understand, is what actually aids you in your digestive tract. So, a bit of information there. But hey, thanks for joining me here. I'll see you next time on the new day.
It's quite amazing. Actually, during my research for this particular episode, I came a lot of. However, it's full of minerals, potassium, vitamins. It aids in the digestive tract. Aids in digestion, liver and kidney function. Actually, it's in fact. Some people believe